Welcome to SMR Bitesize. Monday's news stories coming up. But before that, if you like what we're doing, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel. With this year's National Rejoin March set for September the 23rd in London, why not kit yourself out ahead of the big day? You'll find everything you need and more courtesy of our friends at Stay European. All orders over £15 are delivered free, and here's the best bit. As an SMR Bite-Size viewer, you'll get 10% off everything you order. Just enter the code at the checkout. And yeah, there's a shop link in the description. It's not really been a great week for the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Not only did the man for whom integrity is so important dodge the parliamentary vote on integrity last week, he repeatedly refused to say how he would have voted if he had have turned up. But he did find time to sit down with the BBC's Laura Koonsberg to mansplain his way through around 20 minutes worth of repeatedly parroted pledges, entirely vacuous sound bites, and frankly delusional prophecies for the next 5 years.
Very quickly, yes or no? Do you think you're going to win the next election?
Yes.
If you really want to hear everything he had to say, go search for it. I don't want to be responsible for forcing you to have to listen to what I did. But if you saw it on Sunday morning, you'll already know it was a little bit of a car crash. But as luck would have it, Laura invited onto her show 80s comic legend, writer of Blackadder, The Thin Blue Line, and The Young Ones, Ben Elton, to pass judgment on the whole debacle. He's cooled down just a little since then, and we'll get to that in a moment. But first, feast your eyes and ears on this.
If anybody was still watching after that extraordinary Orwellian, meaningless, evasive word salad, I mean, everybody else wanted to believe, and I sort of believe maybe he's kind of a bit more decent, you know, and it turns out he's as much of a mendacious, narcissistic sociopath as his previous boss. I mean, this man literally, he seems to be making a principle of the fact that he resigned from a government that he'd served loyally and tried to keep propped up for numerous years. He's trying to boast about having worried about inflation while he was Chancellor of the Exchequer under Johnson. He seems to act as being born into Downing Street 6 months ago was a miracle birth. No, he was a part of a 13-year cycle which has got us to this point. He talks about other countries having the same problems. He doesn't admit what he well knows, which is that they're all doing better under them. The evasion, the constant repetition of a repaired street. I genuinely wanted to believe that maybe the Tories had made a reset, even though they had elected a man who had loyally served under Johnson, a man who made a mockery of a parliamentary democracy and clearly was venally motivated by self-interest. The fact that the Tories chose that easy option, for a man now to say, we don't take easy options, when they took the easy option, which was Johnson, because they thought it would keep them in power, and when they thought for a moment he wouldn't, they dumped him instantly. I mean, he's the Prime Minister. He owes us honesty, and we got nothing but mendacity, evasion, and vanity, just dripping with vanity.
Oh my days. Well, the following day, Ben took to LBC to defend those comments, and despite having cooled down to something approximating boiling point now, he wasn't going to back down. In fact, we got a wholehearted defence.
Gosh, honestly, don't they reach for this champagne? Oh, this elite, this media elite. Look, I didn't set out to mug the PM. I was really sad. I went on to plug my rail documentary. We scarcely had a chance to mention it because of the Russia thing, and they had this huge interview with the PM, and we sat through it. It was 20 minutes. And I really, really wanted to hear some proper commitment, some proper principle, and some actual new ideas. What I heard was a word salad of evasion and quarter truths and mendacity, and I got angry because I'm British, I live here. It's not about... I didn't set out to say it. If they hadn't played the interview, I wouldn't have said anything about him. She turned to me, she said, what do you think of that interview? And I thought what most people were thinking, which is, well, he literally didn't say anything except for the fact that I'm brilliant, I will sort everything out, and I have zero responsibility for the previous 13 years of Tory government. I was born 6 months ago when I became PM. And I'm sorry, it made me angry. I did not set out to have a go.
Was
and
it
the BBC
personal?
didn't.
Did you get personal?
Well,
Tories say you got a bit personal.
I didn't get personal. It was personal from me. Look, he's the Prime Minister. I mean, I've had some slagging off in my time. And if that's the worst he gets, he should read some of my reviews. That is, honestly, I was giving a personal reaction as a Londoner and as a Briton who just made a documentary about our rail service. He was talking about our health service. You've just had a doctor on the line, etc. And the idea that there's no alternative than what they're offering. I'm sorry, it was a personal reaction. The BBC didn't know I was going to say it, but then I didn't know they were going to play that word salad and then ask me to comment on it.
Bravo to Ben Elton, we say. We need more public figures standing up for, well, integrity, professionalism and accountability. Those words ring a bell, don't they? Whatever. But one thing's for sure, Elton has certainly set the bar incredibly high. So here at SMR, we say simply, beat that. If you enjoyed this video, visit 16millionrising.co.uk, where you can listen to this week's full radio show for free, support us with a donation, buy us a coffee, or subscribe as an early riser. Back tomorrow.